Without mental health. So we say there's no health without mental health. My name is Dr. Oluseun Peter Ogunubi, your mental health advocate and your mental health ambassador. Today is September 10, and we're celebrating the World Suicide Prevention Day. Every September 10, we do celebrate the World Suicide Prevention Day. And WSPD for short is celebrated annually and is organized by International Association for Suicide Prevention. International Association for Suicide Prevention, IASP, and is endorsed by WHO. That's World Health Organization. It's important for us to know that this event represents a global movement to focus our attention on suicide prevention. The theme for this year is creating hope through action. We must act. I must act, and you must also act. We must create hope through action. Many people are going through a lot of things, depressions and and they just want to end it. But we must create hope through action. Empathy is needed. We need to understand things that are happening to our fellow human beings. Most of the situations that lead people to commit suicide are things that we could actually have helped out. But when we live in a world of me cool, you cool, every man to himself or herself, at the end of the day, people become hopeless, they feel worthless, and they feel helpless. And then the next thing is that they want to end it. It's important that this year we take a sober reflection to look at the collective and the action that are needed for us to address these urgent public health issues. It involves you, it involves me. All of us, our family members, friends, co-workers, community members, educators, religious leaders, all of us, including the healthcare professionals, whether you're a psychiatrist, psychologist, whoever, political leaders, governments across the globe, we need to take action to prevent suicide. It's very important for us. The objective of this day is to raise awareness about suicide prevention. We need to raise awareness. And as much as possible, it's also include promoting stakeholders' collaboration. Government cannot do it alone. NGOs cannot do it alone. Philanthropists, you must come around. It's also for us to promote self-empowerment and to address self-harm and suicide through preventive action. Most of the people that commit suicide, they have attempted it before, either through self-harming, threatening, trying to attempt it one way or the other before they eventually die by suicide. It's very, very important for us to raise awareness and for us to have an open discussion about this. It's also very important for us to know that we need to have what we call capacity building of healthcare professionals, healthcare providers, and other relevant agencies for them to understand and know what to look out for. It has been found that those who commit suicide, almost 40-50% of them have visited a healthcare practitioner like 3 weeks before that time. Why would somebody visit healthcare professional and the healthcare professional is not able to or was not able to diagnose that this person is likely going to commit suicide? It's very important that we facilitate discussions in mental health home, discussions in schools, in our workplace, religious centers, so that those contemplating or those affected by suicide are also encouraged to share their stories. People will tell you, oh, I lost my brother, I lost my sister, I lost my mom, It's no longer things of shame. In Africa, people don't want to report because it's a thing of shame that, oh, this so family member died by suicide. It is important that we make suicide prevention a priority. I did the dissertation during my fellowship degree. I was talking about suicide among patients with mental illness. It was found that significant numbers of those affected with emotional illness eventually die by suicide. It is important for us to understand this key fact that if you close your eyes, every 40 seconds someone dies by suicide. And suicide mortality in the region of Americas, Africa, they are increasing every time all over the world. And this highlights the urgent need for us to make suicide prevention a public health priority. We need to make suicide prevention a public health priority. I am an ambassador for mental health, and I stand against suicide. Suicide and suicide attempts have rippled effect, and that it is not only the individual that dies, it impacts not only the individuals but the families they left behind. It affects the communities, it affects the society. And it's also important for us to understand the associated factors for suicide, such as job or financial loss, trauma or abuse should be taken care of. Mental and substance use disorders and barrier to accessing health care should be taken care of. The sex difference in suicide mortality is a culture-bound phenomenon, meaning that cultural expectations about gender, men are supposed to be this, women are supposed to be this. All these cultural expectations are things that are affecting the rate or the increase in suicide. It's important for us to know that COVID-19 pandemic has also worsened people's situation, and that has also increased economic burden on people. The COVID pandemic has also increased the burden of mental health condition and therefore disrupted essential mental health services. So we are in a state where suicide is on the increase following COVID-19. Other humanitarian emergencies, including migration, has also worsened. People take suicidal risk. You know what? If I perish, I perish. So they go through the Mediterranean Sea. You see boats, ferries, ships being overcrowded. And all these pose significant threat to people's mental health and then suicide. It is important for us to know on a day like this that suicide can be prevented. Sometimes I go through timelines and people will threaten and say, I'm going to die so time. And guess what? You see comments saying, why are you telling us? If you want to die, give me your Gucci bag. Give me this one. Give me your Versace. Give me your this. What is the pin to your ATM? We don't take it serious. Why are you telling us? This one never ready. These are the things we say. We joke about it. People say, I want to die. And so it is important for us to know that you don't take it lightly. When people say they want to die, they don't just utter those words. As a matter of fact, people want to prove their point and they may eventually carry it out. The key evidence-based suicide prevention measures include restricting access to means for suicide, such as firearms, pesticides. Of course, in our country, you understand that pesticide has been a common tool or medium through which people die by suicide. Mental health and alcohol reduction policies should be put in place by government across all boards. It's important both the local, the state, provincials, federal, whoever is in state of at the realm of affairs should do everything possible to prevent this. It's important for us to know that we need to promote responsible media reportage. I once attended workshops where we were educating the media on how to report suicide. You don't just say somebody went inside, he now took this, he now took that, he now did this. It is too much information. If you do continue to do that, there's what we call copycat suicide, where people will now begin to follow the same trend. And that's why you hear suicide happen today, almost within a week, another form of suicide. So we must promote responsible reportage. Why are you telling people, so happened, a gruesome so, that is all. So it is important. We've talked about government reducing firearms, putting so much fine and ban on alcoholic and psychedelic and also psychogenic substances is very, very important. It's also important for us as community to reduce social stigma, and also lack of awareness remain a major barrier which we must conquer. Because when people don't know where to go for help, they will definitely not seek help. And when the stigma about mental illness continues, when it's a situation where you tell people, men are supposed to be strong, real men don't cry. No, we say it is okay not to be okay. Real men cry a lot. Let us change the conversation. Let us try as much as possible. Normalize the narration or the narratives around mental illness. Not that people will be coming like Nicodemus in the night as in the Bible, or they will be trying to hide under one form of guise to just come to seek help. Why? Because of the stigma in our society. There is need for mental health literacy and anti-stigma campaigns in universities, secondary schools. Let there be anti-suicide prevention squad, anti-suicide squad, suicide prevention squad across all the primary schools, secondary schools, universities, colleges. So we have said that suicide can be prevented. Government should ban firearms, should not make it so easily accessible to people. They should put what we call sin ban on alcohol products. Drugs should be banned, and the circulations of peddling should be totally eradicated. It's important that mental health and alcohol reduction policies are put in place by government, and as much as possible, the media should promote responsible reportage. And it is important that we do everything across board to raise awareness about mental health. The stigma should stop. The stigma should actually stop. It's important for us to know that the agenda is raising hope through action. You cannot continue to use your mouth to say, oh, let us stop suicide. Suicide is not good. What are you doing? How do you relate with your next person, your neighbor? In your workplace, do you actually push people to the point of committing suicide? I granted an interview, for example, where I was talking about the fact that people do not need to migrate if they are doing very well at home. And if you have to migrate at all, then you must make sure that it's worth it, because you are going to suffer before you benefit from it. But when you are going through that suffering, are you willing? Won't you be comparing your achievement back home? At the end of the day, when you are benefiting, maybe you are now practicing or you are now getting the dream of your the job of your choice, then you will not become depressed. But the first time you set your foot in the foreign land, no matter, you become depressed. But guess what? People continue to cyberbully. People continue to do a lot of things. Okay, what if I've committed suicide? Somebody even sent a toxic message, copied it from another page, and sent it to me. Nothing like hello, nothing like how are you, and the person left. Oh, so that I could read it and then go and commit suicide. Our actions. I may say something and you don't believe in it. Fine, that is your opinion. If you believe you have 10 houses at home, you want to sell everything and come and settle abroad, congratulations, bro. Congratulations, sis. But if you want to shuttle in between, come here, see, maintain what you have at home, it is your decision to take. I spoke my mind. So it is important for us to know that collective actions, this is how it's affected me. What if I've committed suicide? So in our workplace, the way we talk to our children, you are a non-entity. You are good for nothing. You are so useless. Look at your life. Look at it. Somebody that you have said is hopeless, is worthless, is nothing. The person will just look at himself one day and say, what is the essence? Let me just end it. And they say, oh, why would he do that? You caused it. Promoting hope through action. Please, let us watch the actions. Let us watch what we do. Every 40 seconds, someone dies by suicide. Every 40 seconds. Close your eyes. Pam, somebody have died. And at the end of the day, what do we say? We blame the same individual for being a weakling. Let's change the narrative. Real men do cry, and they cry a lot. It's okay not to be okay. Empathize. Remove selfishness. Create good neighborliness. It is very, very important. And that is why I said on a day like this, let me also join my voice with the rest of the world celebrating the World Suicide Day every September 10. And then by October 10, it will be World Mental Health Day. I will leave this with the federal government of Nigeria, that you cannot continue to criminalize suicidal attempts. It is important that we understand that suicide is a symptom of emotional illness. If I'm having malaria, I will have fever. You don't put me in jail for 1 year for having fever, because it is important for you to say, oh, he had fever because of malaria. When people have emotional trauma and they feel helpless, hopeless, and worthless, and they feel like killing themselves, and they try to, When you see such a person, maybe the suicide attempt failed, you are supposed to get them help, not to criminalize them. As it is today, there's an extant law in the Federal Republic of Nigeria that says that those who attempt suicide should be criminalized and jailed. I, along well-meaning ambassadors and mental health advocates, in the next couple of years and days and months to come, we will be joining our voice, we will be raising petition, we will be talking to well-meaning Nigerians, we will be writing letters to House of Assemblies, the legislators, government across the board, that this law must be repealed. You cannot criminalize suicidal attempts. You cannot. People don't wake up one day and say, I want to die. Life is sweet. People want to enjoy life. Maslow hierarchy of need is self-preservation, basic need of life. So when a man now turns against himself and says, I want to die, you don't take it for granted, and you don't take that same person and you put the person in a jail. You don't go such. So it is important, and that's the message I'm leaving with the federal government of Nigeria, the state government, local government, and I want Lagos State to be the pace setters. You were the pace setters when it came to mental health law. You passed the mental health law. I want you to decriminalize suicidal. And if you have done that, let government across our board, state government, let them copy Lagos State, and let federal government also. The second thing is that there must be national suicide prevention strategy. For now, there's none. We have organizations, Revisionaries, Mental Health Foundation. We have many organizations that are doing their best to make sure they prevent suicide. Dr. Ogbolu is also doing his best. And of course, as much as possible, you see suicide awareness prevention strategies that are being put in place by Lagos State University, which is now across all the states. It's important for us to know that there's no health without mental health, and that people don't just wake up one day and they say, I want to have mental illness, or I want to commit suicide. It is a feeling. Let us be empathic. Let us understand that you have a role to play in preventing suicide, raising hope through collective action. Again, this is My Matters with Dr. Nubi. I crashed in on you today, quite unusual, live on a very wonderful Sunday night in Nigeria, afternoon here in Canada, and different parts of the world, whatever time. Let us remember raising hope through collective action. Whatever you are doing that will make another person ever think of killing himself or herself, don't do it. Government, don't criminalize suicidal attempts. Let there be suicide prevention strategy. It's very important. Thank you for joining me. For those of us who have joined, I didn't have time to read so many people that Ladun, Rubies and Gems, Tomi Waziri, how are you? Koja, Sheon Oshonuga, Fadipe, my colleagues, Dr. Deyemi, everyone, Femo. And as much as possible, I want to appreciate you guys for crashing in. I crashed in on your time and for joining me. Thank you so much. Till I come your way again, there's no health without mental health. Bye-bye.